Okay, we've got one person watching the stream, bro, and I suspect that one person is you. There's two people certainly watching the stream. It's you and I. So if anybody jumps back on, I won't swear again, I promise. But we'll just wait and see what happens. But we'll talk about some logistics maybe for the next show, bro. I might just have to scream from work from now on.
Yeah, we'll work it out. Andrew. But TikTok, it's time to rock. Take two.
Yeah. I've put part one on private until we edit that, and we'll probably do the same with this one here. So we'll go through and add some of the cards. But this album, bro, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating album. It's one of the best albums in the Van Halen catalog. I don't have a vinyl. I'm looking for a vinyl. I've been looking for a vinyl for 18 months. Do you have any idea how much that this album in vinyl's going for?
I have no idea, Andrew, and I haven't actually seen a vinyl copy of it, to be honest with you.
Couple of $100.
Wow. I haven't seen one advertised anywhere. So, yeah, I would love to get some vinyl. Once I eventually get to a position where I'm setting up properly, I'm going to get a proper vinyl set up and start collecting just all my favorite albums. But this will be one that I think we should hold out for, because I reckon it'll get remastered at some point.
Yeah, hi Mark, we're back. Really sorry about the technical issues. One of the burdens when you live here in New Zealand, that you're on the arse end of the world, and the technology that you guys probably have in Australia, but certainly in America and the UK is not quite up to speed here, where we still send smoke signals.
Mate, I've had similar issues, don't worry. Remember, there's been a few episodes that I've been in and out of. Mate, it's everywhere. But people are jumping back on now, which is good. People are jumping back on, which is great. So, we're, technology issues, mate, they happen all across the world. So you're probably just in a really busy time frame as well where you are, Andrew. I mean, this time of the day where you are, what's it, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, people using Netflix and gaming and all that sort of stuff. And
I hear you, Steve. I hear you. We don't do politics on this show, but I hear you.
Yes, we're a politic-free place. And we normally don't swear. So that's a set rule, but it's okay every now and again when Andrew drops an F-bomb. We allow that. He's the boss man, and he can drop an F-bomb here and there, so that's all right.
Cheers, Mark. Appreciate this. What are we doing? We're just talking balance, Van Halen's Balance, what the album means to us. I don't think you guys in the chat have told us where you rate this album on the part one stream. Hey, Susan. Hey, good to see you, Susan. I think Susan always comments on our streams and on our Instagram accounts, but it's always nice to see her in the live stream. We'll promise we won't swear.
Yes, we heard one F-bomb by accident, but I think you've had a very stressful sort of afternoon there, Andrew, haven't you, with your technical issues? So it's okay.
Yeah. And don't forget, no, we don't want that one. Check that one there out. No, we don't want that one. Oh, we want this one. We want that one.
Yes. So go across there, follow, and in my bio there's a link to the British Electric Blues Andrew's Instagram as well, and he shares basically what we do. He shares the same. We're trying to get our followers up to the 10,000 mark, so we can just start sharing the streams when you swipe up in the stories and go automatically to what we're doing here. So that's the dream. If we can get to 10,000 each, that would be amazing. So help us. We just want this channel to grow. We've got a bit of a goal. By the end of this year, we want to be up to about 1,000 subscribers or thereabouts. So that's our new goal, Andrew, isn't it?
Yeah. And if anybody obviously wants us to attach any of their social media links to any of our shows, we'll do that. I'm going to put some links to Fruitcake Tony's show. I've just been speaking to Fruitcake Tony, so I'm going to do that on our show too to help him, and he's going to do that vice versa. So really nice to see that similar channels helping each other, and let's appreciate that and thank other people for doing that, because we offer our own unique, different perspectives, don't we, bro? It's about it's just some fans hanging out after all.
Well, that's the whole reason we're doing this, is because we are fans, and it's just our opinions, and everyone's got a different opinion, so everyone's show's a bit different, and that's what makes it great that there's so much love going around for this music.
Balance is in my top 3.
Yeah. Balance would be definitely top 3. Production-wise, it's my favorite. Production-wise, love the sounds on this record. The drum sounds alone are phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I think you touched on that back when we did the rankings of this, Andrew. I think you mentioned that they were more modern-sounding drums for the era, and I agree, but still sounded like Alex. Did you notice that? The snare still stands out like Alex. The kick drum, the toms definitely sounded more modern, more relevant to the mid-90s. And I specifically remember you talking about that, and I agreed with you at the time. And still to this day, I've been listening to this record all week. Like I said to you, I never get sick of listening to this record, and there's earlier records from Van Halen that I don't want to hear all the time, but I can listen to this one all the time.
Yeah, I think the drum sound on this album paved the way for a lot of those mid-90 and late 1990 bands, with the, the definitive drum sound. You could hear it, boom, I think this album set that goal, set the standard, and it'll be great. It'll be great to hear, as we said in the part 1 of this show, any of this material that they release in these magazines. And Brad spoke about it. These 20 songs that they had. This album was going to be a double album. Holy cow!
Yeah. So let's hope, the powers that be go through those tapes. Go through what they find there, and there's relevant stuff that can be made, like a, re-release of the record, remastered, and then a bonus album full of, stuff that maybe not complete, but in demo form. So definitely, I would love to hear whatever they've got. I'm sure every fan would love to, especially this era of Van Halen. I've got some friends that are massive Van Halen nuts, and they don't even really rate this era of Van Halen, saying that it was a bad era for Van Halen, and I don't get that. I don't get that, because in my opinion, this was probably where they were writing amazing songs. they wrote some amazing music at this time. And I have to say, I've been listening to this record all week, Andrew, and it's the only real record I've listened to other than the Jeff Beck one, Truth. But it's the only record I've listened to this week, and the song Aftershock and Not Enough have been on constant rotation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aftershock, phenomenal. In my opinion, it was always up there, but it's one of my favorite ones on the record now. There's some changes in there that are just amazing. And Not Enough, what a song. You know, and he talks about his guitar solo. In that guitar magazine from 1995, he talks about that solo for Not Enough, how he put his Marshall through, had it into a Leslie speaker. And he wanted to try and capture that Beatles vibe for that solo.
That's correct. Yeah. What was the While My Guitar Gently Weeps?
Yeah. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, he wanted that tone, which is obviously, we know that's Clapton in that. So he's obviously a big fan of Clapton. And I've always said that I can hear elements of the Beatles in Van Halen music, so it's relevant to them. That was a really good interview, that 1995 Guitar World one. I know I mentioned it before, but anyone that hasn't read it, it's online. We might even share a link to it attached to this card, Andrew, for the listeners, the viewers, so they can go through and check it out. But yeah, it's a very cool interview, and it's very relevant. And he does talk about how he thinks the early Van Halen guitar sound sucked. So we're not just blowing hot wind out of our butts here. This is the words from the man himself. And interestingly, he recorded a lot of this stuff sober, and he's very adamant about the fact that he always leaned quite heavily on recording stuff while he was drinking, because he would feel a bit looser and not so worried about perfection. But on this record was one of the first times he actually recorded stuff sober.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a potential contradiction too. Because if you guys read Sammy's book, Sammy makes it very clear, that that Eddie was hiding what he was doing. So look at the end. At the end of the day, if you know anybody personally that's had issues with drinking, it's just it's a difficult situation for them. So, but yeah.
Well, maybe a bit of a contradiction there between them, which they'll only know the differences themselves. But I just thought that was interesting that he mentioned that in this interview. But then part of the reason that but it sounds like he does say he'd only been stopped drinking for about a month or so at that particular time. So, Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you, bro. I think there was a period, and this is where I think Sammy. So where the issue, you say what I say, what becomes a little bit cloudy. But I'm going to take Eddie at his word, because these other articles where he's spoken about the fact that he did, go sober there for a period of time. So I think he did. I think he did, bro.
But he does actually even talk about, how he never drank in his house and never drank. It was always in the studio. He'd go to work and he'd start drinking, quite opposite to what most people would do. So he does mention that in that interview. We're pulling a lot out of this interview, and I hope it doesn't spoil it for you if you've already haven't read it. But I think most Van Halen fans have probably read this interview and can relate to what we're talking about anyway. So it's definitely,
I think Susan's hit the nail on the head here. Alex stopped drinking early on, so that's a good point, because that was the continuation. Because I think if anybody was going to have an influence on Eddie and his alcohol consumption, it was certainly going to be his brother, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. He always looked up to his big brother, so that was evident, But there was he talks about his family and his parents. His dad was probably responsible for giving him his first drink, and his mum was responsible for giving him his first cigarette. It's in that interview. It's all there. It's
different
all there.
world. Different world back
different
then.
world. So yeah, we're talking about a different world. But
when I was a young guy, started work, I was in the smoko room and everybody was smoking, mate. I was eating my lunch that my mum made, and there was a guy in front of me smoking, 2 guys here, and an ashtray next to my lunchbox.
Yep.
And I was a smoker.
This is something I touched on before, and because we're dropping in and out, I'm not sure whether we covered it off completely or whatever, but I'll try and recap a little bit. When they were recording, it's even for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, he used the Eventide harmonizer on it, but he was adamant about the fact that he used the harmonizer. There's dry guitar signal to the left, and the duplicate sound with the Eventide was on the right. It's barely used as a harmonizer or an effect. It was just to split his guitar signal so that there was a stereo spectrum, and he had it set to detune to 98, so it harmonizes just a little, but it was barely used as an effect. So that was how he recorded. Obviously, live on stage, he used wet, dry, wet signal, which is something that he used pretty much. Once he got that idea, that was all he ever did, wet, dry, wet on stage.
Well, that's correct. That's pretty much the only effect that he used in the studio, and he used a flanger, I think, on Seventh Seal and Amsterdam, I think. There's parts there where he was using the flanger, but yeah, you're right, bro. It was pretty simple rig.
It's all there in that interview. He talks about all that. And he talks about, the songs having different key changes in the songs, and he just calls it better songwriting. He's a bit humorous and has a bit of fun in it as well. But what's your thoughts, Andrew? And I think we spoke about this when we rated and did the ranking on the album, but the song Crossing Over, do you reckon that should have been on the album?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe even if they were to put 12 tracks on, what song would you remove? I think I remember you saying, Big Fat Money.
Yeah. That's certainly. But when we were dropping in and dropping out, I just wanted to. You were talking about Amsterdam, and I was dropping in and dropping out. So I just want to bring up a point that I read in some of these interviews. How in Sammy's book he was talking about how Eddie was critical about some of the lyrics that Sammy used, and he didn't say much. Well, actually, in 1995, there's a couple of articles here, interviews, where Eddie is saying, "I'm not the lyricist of the band. I write the music, but Amsterdam, I don't know. It was a bit of a cliche, the song and singing about Amsterdam. Bro, this was in 1995 when they were still touring, he was being, and I just think, don't you think maybe that may have upset Sammy a bit? Because he would have heard it.
Oh, of course. And I think maybe they were I think you mentioned this about it might have even been on when we did the rankings on this particular album. You spoke about how the Beatles were messaging each other through their song lyrics.
That's correct.
And I think Sammy was maybe doing similar things in the music. But I've found that little section in the 95 Guitar World magazine. It says here, since we're on the topic of drug use, you mentioned that you weren't absolutely thrilled with Sammy's choice of topic for the song Amsterdam. He put, well, the song is about smoking dope, and I thought the music might have warranted something more metaphoric. I envisioned something else, but since I don't write lyrics, I'm not the one to piss and moan about it. That's all he said about it. He said, did you ask Sammy to try and come up with something different? He goes, yeah, but he liked it, so that was that. You know, he doesn't like everything I do either. We're not going to fight about it to the point where the song doesn't get put out. It's part of being in a band. You work together. You can't please everybody all the time. So I think, you know, sometimes I think the fans sometimes and the press sometimes make things bigger issues than what they were.
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I'm glad you've mentioned that, because I think fans certainly are taking these little golf balls and turning them into Everests, you know. I just, yeah. And I'm going to echo what Brad said 3 or 4 times. You know, go and read some of these interviews. They're online.
Yep.
You know, they're available, you know, and I'd like to think that one of the things that our show does is try to offer some balance and a bit of historical fact, because Eddie has said it. You know, these aren't our opinions, and we just offer our opinion about what Eddie's said.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, mate. That's in his words. So it doesn't sound like it's a massive big deal to him. You know, it doesn't sound like it's this big thing though. Maybe in other interviews he may have mentioned more, but the few interviews I have read and heard whenever Ed's actually been asked about that song, he's kind of just gone, well, you know, he's moved on with it. You know, it's not such a big deal.
Hey, John.
You know? It's not such a big deal to him.
Yeah. Hey, Metal Mike. Thanks, guys, for joining us back for part 2 because of the technical issues. We'll have both these streams up later on for you guys to share if you want. And while we're here, I just want to make a point of a couple of things. We are pushing, if you are watching a replay, please follow Brad there at Brad Cook Music and on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Have you got Kurt there?
Nah, he's not here. Nah. Yes, I have. Okay. Hold on.
Because he's very proactive with sharing some really detailed pictures and everything to do with Van Halen.
Here's everyone. There's Brad there.
There's Kurt and the rest of the rat bags there.
Yeah, and even Simon. So what we're going to do from now on, guys, any updates on the channel on a live stream, we're going to put the information on our Instagram account. So that's where you're going to have to find out the topic of the next 5150 show. We're not going to tell you on the stream.
We want yours to be interactive. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. You know, draw you to our socials, but you guys can be interactive with it as well, which is great. But Andrew, you were going to share some pictures that Kurt flicked through to you. Did you want to do that now?
Yeah, I think most of them may be the ones. I think you may have covered most of them.
Okay.
I've also subscribed, guys, to Dweezil Zappa's channel. Not to all his podcasts, but I've certainly subscribed to the ones that he's going to be doing with Sammy Hagar. So I'll let you guys know how good. No, we've already done those ones. Those were Brad's ones. So I'll be letting you guys know how that goes too. Okay, hold on. That's going to work. Where are we? We're over here. And share screen. Where is the share screen? Here it is.
Oh yeah. That's
cool. So what the Rev's done for us obviously is a lot of the photos that we've shown on part 1 were all around the Music Man, and we have to bear in mind that this album Balance is marked by a few things, not only what was happening with Sammy and Eddie, but it was the beginning in the introduction of the Peavey Wolfgang. So another interesting period in Van Halen's guitar history. Got any opinions on the Peavey Wolfgang, Brad?
Look, I'm glad you touched on that, because I remember I sat with my video cassette recorder on pause record, ready to film Not Enough off Dave Letterman when they performed that live on the Dave Letterman show.
Yep.
And the minute he threw the guitar over, I was like, what the hell's that? Like, I knew it wasn't a Music Man. And I was shocked. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, it looked great. I have to say, it sounded phenomenal in that performance. Sounded phenomenal. And I knew it definitely wasn't a Music Man. I was thinking to myself, is this a new Ernie Ball guitar? Or I really had no idea. I didn't know that he'd changed guitars. And when I saw it, I thought it looked great. Then obviously, not long after that, I realized that they were Peaveys, they were Wolfgangs. And I always liked the look of them. The little dip in the headstock, that like the sort of little egg shape that had been removed from the headstock. At first I wasn't big on that, but the more I watched it, the more I looked at the guitar, the more it grew on me. Now, I've played one before. I think they play a little bit different to a Music Man, but I enjoy it. I think tonality wise, it's very similar. It's a good looking guitar. I mean, look at that. That's the Music Man, though. And that to me is still one of my favorite guitars of his, the Music Man, without a doubt. But I have nothing against the Peavey one myself. I still think it's a great looking guitar. Sounds great. Yep, that's a great one. So you can see there the pickup's been reversed in the neck position, so that the magnets, the screw part of the magnet is closer to the bridge pickup. So that's an amazing flame on that one. You can see there.
It's beautiful.
And
getting back to the Peavey, I'm a Music Man fan. I've had a Peavey as well, and I think what you've said, bro, is they play differently. They certainly play differently. And I'm not knocking the Peaveys or the EVHs at all, but one of the key things about what we try and do here is, if we do have a favourite, or we're going to say, and I think the Music Man, for me, when I first saw that guitar, it was like, wow.
Well, we've got Steve B5150 saying his Peavey's awesome. He can honestly say he enjoys playing his Peavey over his Music Man. So awesome. there's always going to be people that are find a guitar works better and sounds better for them, and that's great. That's the beautiful thing about music, isn't it? And guitars and instruments, we all find that one that resonates with us the most. But so that in a roundabout way, it did feel like a different playing guitar to me. But I would need to have them both side by side again to make a fair comparison.
Yeah. So these photos here are out of the interview that Dweezil Zappa did.
Right. Okay.
With who's the guy we're talking about? Eddie.
Yeah. That guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that might. Hold on, bro. Oh, he's so the Revs put another wolf. This is the marketing that they did for the Wolfgang, which came in the monitor, the PV monitor, which is like their product magazine.
Yeah. And I really liked how they put a tone control on the guitar as well, I must admit. Because that's one thing I have to admit. I went down the Van Halen trip thing with one of my Les Pauls and I bypassed the tone control. And personally, it didn't work for me. I used the tone control quite a bit, and I realized how much I use it when I didn't have it.
Really?
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, my Les Paul I'm talking about, obviously. So, like, I bypassed the tone control and the bridge pickup. So it was just volume. And it was a different tone. And I'm a sucker to be able to roll the tone back a tiny bit on guitars and flatten things out when I want to. And then, but yeah, it was one of those things where I liked the introduction to the tone control on that Wolf. I must admit, I thought that was a good addition. But it's still a beautiful guitar. Wow. I mean, you have to admit, it was that red one that he played on Letterman. I thought that was sexy. I was like, man, I knew it wasn't a Music Man. You could tell straight away.
Well, it's one of the best solos he's ever done, and ever. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. That one I shared on my Instagram from Letterman in playing that solo is, I remember watching that, and while he was playing that, like at the time in 1995 on Letterman, and I was like overwhelmed. I was goosebumpy. I was like, as Steve Anderson used to say, the goosebump material, get the goosebumps and overwhelmed. It's but that song in particular, Off Balance, it always captured me when that song would come on, the piano intro and the way the song comes in. But you do have to admit the guitar tone from Letterman is phenomenal, especially when he comes in after the solo, and it's just resonancy and it's big and fat. Got a red Peepee Wolfgang, loved it. Awesome guitar, beautiful.
Wow.
And that's the thing, even like the new EVH Wolves, I like them for a different reason too, Yeah, I love them. So, the Music Man will always be closest to my heart, though, in the sense where I just put that guitar in a place where Van Halen is for me. The Carnal Knowledge record, everyone knows by now, it's no secret that it's my favorite Van Halen record. And I just picture that time frame in my life, 90, 91, was just getting into playing guitar. I loved that era of Van Halen. It was just that Music Man, and it's all over Balance, that guitar,
I agree with you, Steve. The Music Man will always be the crown jewel. No argument from me. Susan's asking us if we're going to be hanging around Fruitcake Tony. So I watch Fruitcake Tony if I can get a chance, Susan, from work. It's early afternoon on a Monday for me. So, and it's I think late morning for Brad. So we've been fortunate when we've had public holidays and Brad's had lockdowns that we've been able to jump on a couple of shows with Fruitcake Tony. But yes, Fruitcake Tony is always a friend of our channel.
Yeah.
And if you can do us a favor, Susan, if you can do a shout out on his channel in the chat for us, we'd appreciate it. And if you can tell him that we've been doing shout outs for Fruitcake Tony and Helensville too, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. For myself, I've got a pretty busy day on Monday, so that's unfortunately just the time zone thing makes it a little bit difficult. Obviously, we're doing this is 3:44 here PM in Melbourne, but His first album is my favorite. Yeah, that's great. I mean, look, that's the thing. Everyone's got their favorite Van Halen record, and yet it takes you back to a time, you know. But this is yours, isn't it, Andrew? Balance would be yours, wouldn't it? Balance is
Oh,
it's your fave, isn't it?
look,
I can't remember which is your favorite. I always thought this one was because the Seventh Seal for some reason.
yeah,
Whenever
yeah. It's my top three, but you know, it's like a lot of things. Yeah, you know it. You know, please don't. There's a couple of things that you guys have to remember on the 5150 show. What we say this week might be contradicted next week because you know we listen to this music all the time, and you know what I listened to today. You know, yeah. So don't ever hold any of the co-hosts to ransom by anything that we say about where we slot songs or albums. But look, bro, no, seriously, it's in my top 3 albums. I love it. I think it's fascinating. And Susan, here on this channel too, we accept all Van Halen fans, and that's one of the great things about people watching our show and joining us in the chat. You can be, if you jumped on here and said that you love Van Halen 3, we're great.
Yeah. And Van Halen 3's got a soft spot in our hearts as well, because that was the tour that Andrew and I were able to go and see Van Halen for the first time.
Yeah.
Because Van Halen never toured here in Australia or New Zealand before that. Bastards.
Yeah. So, you're right, bro. So you know, we're never going to ditch that album. Yeah, you know, does it compare to this album? No.
That's when I got to meet Ed. You know, that to me is like it sits in my studio and reminds me of some great times. You know,
show off.
You know, it's not often you get Ed Van Halen to sign something for you, is it? So
Dirty Rotten, show off. No one likes a show off.
All right. This will probably rub salt into the wounds even more.
Oh, here we go.
I actually wrote to Brad on it. So
to Brad.
Yeah.
Well done, bro. Well done.
That album in particular, and I know we're talking about Balance, which we won't deviate too much, but this record, I mean, I'll give it credit. It's still got a lot of great stuff on there. It's still got some great stuff on there, and it's all Ed's music. You know, in all honesty, I have a lot of trouble listening to the album from start to finish.
Yeah, and Steve agrees with you too. Look, a lot of skips on that album. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of skips.
When you compare that to the Balance, there's no comparison, unfortunately. But, yeah.
And no wonder Susan likes Van Halen 1 because she was 22 when that album came out. What a time to be listening to a great album.
Wow. Well, for me, I mean, we have done the rankings from every album, and we encourage everyone to go back and watch those to get our take on each album and each era, because we give every era credit for what it deserves. You know what I mean? Like Van Halen 1, it's Kurt's one of his favorites. You know what I mean? It's right up there. We love all the areas across. It's all Van Halen to us. It doesn't matter who's singing or what. It's Van Halen, so we love it all. But we all have our, as in life, we all have our preferences, and some people like, you know, particular colors. Some people like things. It's just a flavor. You know, we listen to Van Halen, and for me, Carnal Knowledge and Balance are probably right up there for me, because I was, you know, Van Halen's Carnal Knowledge for me was my very first album that I bought from them that they released at the time. Like everything else had been released for years. You know what I mean? So that was my first time rushing out to buy a Van Halen record. That's why that one's so special to me. But I love the material on the album. And this kind of felt like a little bit of a part two of Carnal Knowledge for me, if that makes sense. Balance.
Yeah. Look, I'm a bit older than Brad, so I remember, buying Diver Down and getting into Van Halen before Hagar came along, and just being floored by the band and loving it and falling in love with Eddie Van Halen. I was lucky enough to have a couple of friends that were, inspired by Eddie too. So you had a couple of mates to sort of bounce a few ideas off. But, when Sammy, Brad, when Sammy joined the band and 5150 came out, and, what was the lead single off that album? What was the lead single? Come on, guys, help me out here. We need
off which album, Andrew?
5150. 5150.
Wasn't it? Was it Dreams or Good Enough? No, Dreams.
No. Hold on. I'm sorry.
We should know this stuff. This is why we need the Rev here. Rev, you're missed, mate. This is the sort of stuff we need. He's our encyclopedia of Van Halen. If he doesn't know it, no one else will. So I think the first single.
Why Can't This Be Love? That was the lead single. Yeah.
That's it.
So when I first heard that, bro, I thought this can't be Van Halen.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds so different. And then obviously getting the album and going, wow, I just fell in love with them again.
Yeah. Oh. The 5150 record, was the first Van Halen record I actually bought because I loved the song Dreams, and I went out and bought it. And from the very first moment that I heard "Hello, Baby,"
Hello, baby.
that album, and I bought that album at the same time I bought Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses, and those two records became like high rotation for me. And then obviously, just a wonderful era for music, and I'm not sure if we're ever going to see an era like that ever again in music, unfortunately. But what a wonderful time to be alive and to say we were around at the time Van Halen were releasing records,
Oh, I think what you've just said is a key thing, and thank you for bringing that point up, bro. We've seen Van Halen live, which is great. Ben, how many times have you seen Van Halen? And John and Steve, I'd be interested, and so will Brad, I'm sure. And Susan, how many times have you guys seen Van Halen? Because as Brad said, we've only seen them once, and that was with the Van Halen 3 tour. But I think you're right, bro, because we haven't had an opportunity to see Van Halen 40 times or 30 times. At least we were there and getting that excitement of going to the record store to buy these albums when they were being dropped, So that's pretty close, isn't it? Of just lining up there and getting it and going, wow.
Yeah, man, and that's what it's all about. I mean, getting home, putting on, Carnal Knowledge and Balance when I rushed out to buy them the day they were released, and reading the liner notes from start to back and looking at all the lyrics in the Balance, I think the lyrics are in Balance in the inner sleeve and things like that. They were the days when, you could sit and be absorbed by a record for hours and hours and hours on end without worrying about the rest of the world.
Bye, Teresa. Thank you for joining us.
See ya. And just a wonderful time to be able to go and, be inspired by music. And that's Steve B's seen 5 shows. What tours were they, Steve? Can you give us what albums, what tour did you go and see them on?
Susan, US. She saw them at the Ass Feast.
US, yeah. Yeah, just I think I've just got to allow a comment to come through. saw the Carnal Knowledge, Balance, and Right Here, Right Now tours. Wow. Wow.
Oh, aren't you lucky?
You lucky bugger.
Yeah.
They're the tours that I really wanted to see the most.
Oh.
I'm just going to allow Steve B.
Bent's going to have to come on. He's going to have to guest on a 5150 show with us and tell us about it.
Yeah. So I just allowed,
Tony will let him.
yeah. I just allowed another comment to come through. Where was it? Steve, 51 Carnal Knowledge, Balance, Reunion. So he's been on those tours. Can you see that, Andrew? I just allowed it in the chat. It's amazing that we're so Andrew. I can speak for Andrew here. We're so jealous that everyone got to see them so often, and there's something that really annoyed me about the band that they never came to Australia. You know, close friend of mine was touring with them, and I was, you know, hopeful that they would come to Australia on that particular tour, and they never did, and I was really upset about that at the time. I remember they never actually toured on those records that I loved so much, which you know, would have been amazing to see. I'm sure you got some amazing stories. There's great things that are surfacing. There's stuff that's popping up on YouTube now, which is great, and a lot of that era is starting to surface, which is great. But Balance, what can I say any more about it, Andrew, than what we've already said? Phenomenal record. Phenomenal.
Hey, Joshua.
What would be, out of all the tracks on there, when you think of the flow of the record and everything like that, I know Seven Seals right up there for you, Andrew, but you know, there's some other amazing songs on there. What's another one for you that really, you know, you resonates with you a lot? I mean, Seven Seal, I know that's probably your most favorite on there, but you've got 11 other tracks plus Crossing Over. What would be one that you would put, say you were to play 2 songs off, or hang on, let me rephrase that. 3 songs off Balance that you would put on a listening device for the only 3 songs you can listen to from this record?
Seventh Seal, Not Enough, and probably Aftershock, because I think Aftershock is fantastic, but not Enough would be a coin toss, bro, between Not Enough and Feeling.
Yeah.
If you could give me 4.
Yeah, okay, 4. Well, for me, mine are pretty much exactly the same. And Aftershock, Seven Seal, Not Enough, Feeling, or Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. So I'll be struggling between to make 4 out of that. But that's good to know that we're on the same path there, because that's something that, you know, there's a couple more here. It's funny, there's a particular word that pops up in the chat here, Andrew, that won't be allowed unless I approve it. Have you seen them come through?
Just hold on for 1 second. So, Susan, I'm in New Zealand, and Brad and I only saw Van Halen once in '98 when they were on the Van Halen 3 tour. Yep. So just hold on, bro.
Yeah. But the gig I went to watch them play at is online on it's on YouTube. Not the whole gig though. Not the whole gig. It's only a selection of songs that they put out. So Sydney, Australia. I was living in Sydney, Australia at the time, and I went to the Entertainment Centre and watched Van Halen 3 tour with Gary. And it was mind-blowing. It was unreal. But, yeah. I don't know what's going on with the chat. but I've been pushing some of those chats through that need to be approved, and they're not showing up, Andrew.
Oh, okay. All right. So just
I don't
give
know
me a
what's
second,
going
bro.
on, because I see them pop up in the chat. Guys, just so you know, when you put the FUCK word in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just put carnal or whatever, so we know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I think I allowed.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on, but there were some relevant comments there that were relating to what we were talking about. So.
Okay, so just put the yeah, that's a good point, because we've tried doing that before when we were talking about this album. So just do carnal knowledge or yeah, because they wouldn't allow us that other time. So
yeah. So basically, I'll go through. There was one there from Ben Tom that said he saw the carnal knowledge balance right here, right now tours. Steve B5150 said he saw 1984, 5150, carnal knowledge and balance and reunion gigs. Lucky bugger.
Oh wow.
That would have been amazing. Yep, Fruitcake Tony. Yeah, we know Fruitcake Tony. We were a bit upset at Fruitcake Tony for seeing him 40 plus times. So we know that. I'm just going through all the other comments to see. There was a couple more I saw. I'm sorry, guys, if your comments aren't showing up. We're not blocking them. YouTube does. So.
No. Yeah, because of the swear words. So yeah. Interesting.
Here he is. Fruitcake Tony's in the chat. Your ears must have been burning, mate. We were just talking about how jealous we are that you saw Van Halen 40 plus times. It's a bit rude to talk to Andrew and I about that stuff when we've only seen him once.
Good to see you, Fruitcake Tony. Love your tattoo, bro. Love your channel. Appreciate everything that you do, and appreciate the shout outs that you give us too, bro.
Yeah, thank you. So we've just been discussing, for everyone that's popping in the chat, because it's filling up now, which is good, the balance era. We've gone over a lot now, but Fruitcake Tony, what's your favorite 4 tracks from Balance? 4 tracks that you would put on a listening device. If you only had 4 to choose from, we want to know what your 4 would be, buddy. Okay.
And if you don't know them, I'll read them out for you. So the first one is Don't Tell Me, Amsterdam, Big Fat Money, Strung Out, Not Enough, Aftershock, Doing Time, back to Lyrium.
No one gets that right.
Take Me Back, and Feeling.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Tony. Good to see you, bro.
Okay, so Metal Mike, AU812, For Unlawful, Right Here, Right Now, Balance, Van Halen 3, Reunion, Different Kind of Truth, Tokyo Dome. Are they all the gigs you've seen? The tours you've seen? Wow.
Wow. What a dude.
We're jealous. Andrew and I are sitting here seething. We're not happy with you lot. See what happens, Kurt, when you're not here? We get upset with our listeners.
Tony knows them.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can turn off my filters if you want to. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Maybe I should. Okay, then I will.
Yeah, we maybe the filters were changed at some point, Andrew, because we were having some lovely terrorist radar chat at one point, remember? And I think maybe the filters were reset, maybe. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. I won't even touch on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, our chats, just so you guys know, in our chat, we only encourage positive talk as well. But yeah, so 1995, great era, musically a great era for Van Halen. We know they were having turmoil. We've discussed all that now already, but there's a really cool, what was it, the 25th or 21st anniversary of the album. Sammy did a bit of a YouTube, or he did a bit of a phone in and someone's put it on YouTube, little discussion on it. And he sounds still a little bit bitter at the time, but I'm sure now. What was that? Sorry?
Oh, John's he's going to split. He's going to go and catch his mum. So I'm just saying, cheers, John.
It's okay. Fruitcake. Take Me Back, Deja Vu, Feeling, Amsterdam. Okay, cool. Great songs.
Yeah.
Great song. Feeling's such a I've heard people knock Feeling and I don't get it. I don't understand why they knock it, but
I don't understand it either. I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
Texas. Hey, Texas, good to see you. Been a long time, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun. We haven't had our other rat bag join us, but I thought he might drop in just for a quick chat. But it's been great being able to chat and connect with you guys and talk about probably Andrew's and one of my favorite albums from Van Halen. Such a great era for the band. And, those tracks, when you read those tracks out, I think of the start of the song instantly. It's like, that's how well I know the songs. Boom, boom, boom. I know, every time I listen to Seven Seal now, I picture, the Tibetan monks. I picture what it must be like, and your description of it, Andrew, it's stuck in my head, Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I appreciate the stream. We've had to do this in 2 parts because of my technical issues. Really appreciate you guys from jumping in from the first stream back. Fruitcake Tony, especially for catching up with us. We will be, if I get a chance, bro, I'll watch you from work. Susan told us that you're going to be devoting your show to the US Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, if I don't catch it all, I do go back and watch your show. Your show is wonderful, and we look forward to jumping on with you. And then one day, mate, you got to come and join us. Come and join us. Hang out with us for a couple of hours. Appreciate it.
Yep, definitely. Same thing. I'll catch up because it's the time zone thing with us. Fruitcake Tony is all over the place, so it makes it difficult while I'm at work and you guys are at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night.
It's a big world. It's a big world, bro. But yeah, and Brent, thank you too, bro. You get well. We'd love to have you on as a guest too, because your contribution to all things Van Halen is wonderful too. So we really appreciate you jumping on, clearing up a couple of things with Brad and I. Appreciate it. Love the Van Halen family. We are in the top echelon. Everybody that participates on this show, Fruitcake Tony's Halenville and the Johnny Bean show, respectful, onto it, knowledgeable and kind Van Halen fans. Well done.
Yeah, definitely. And to anyone who watches this later, I hope you enjoy the content, and please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. We're trying to grow our channel. We want to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We need you guys to help us, though. That's the only way we're going to grow organically. So, get on and share our channel, share our episodes. If you enjoy what we do and you want to see more, just keep doing that and we'll keep delivering. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, So we're on tomorrow with Simon, the Rock Professor, Brad and I. We're discussing Jeff Beck's Truth album, which is fantastic. We can't wait to deep dive that. Simon's going to lead us through to that. And then when the Rev is back from his vacation, we're going to have a special show with him. He's going to talk about his trip with Tom Weber.
Yeah. And I've been waiting for that show. I've been waiting for that one because I want to hear the ins and outs. I'm not really good at setting up Floyd Rose guitars. I do the best I can. So I can't wait to hear everything he's got to. He's going to share everything he knows and learn from that with everyone on and we want everyone in the chat, guitar players especially, to be interactive on that one. Ask whatever questions. Kurt's documented a lot. He's kept a lot of information there, and that's why we love him. He's never gonna not document things. So everything he's learned from that, he's going to share his wisdom. And as you know, he builds his own guitars, and the Bumblebee's the next one. So looking forward to it.
One of three he's built.
Yeah, he's starting to become this little guitar builder in his own right. Who knows? He might start manufacturing his own little guitar line called the Revs 5150s.
Oh, we didn't get any of those photos.
Yeah.
And we're his co-hosts.
What about us rat bags here in New Zealand and Australia? Oh, no, he shared some photos of where he is at the moment. So
I didn't. Okay, so he's shared them with you, and he's shared them with Laz. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Rev.
I think he shared them in the group, didn't he? He shared them in the group, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right.
You just haven't. Stop picking on Kurt. All right, he can't help it. He's having fun while we're holding the fort down. We're working our guts out, and he's out there having fun.
Look, Susan, really appreciate the kind words and the kind comments that you've been leaving on our streams. It's fantastic. We appreciate it. We're always humbled by the support and kind words we get. And if you guys want to follow Brad on his Instagram, ask him nicely if he wants to do a midweek special with me next week. Ask him nicely. Put some pressure on him, and he might decide to do a midweek special. We might do something on Wednesday, which will be Tuesday for our North American friends. So we might just jump on and talk about something for an hour and a half.
Thursday, we got to Thursday last week, and I went, oh, we didn't do a midweek special.
I know. And I'm blaming you.
Oh, this week's been crazy, Andrew. This week has been crazy, mate. I know. Been back at work. Back at like I worked today up until I walked through the door and jumped on here. I've got a gig tonight. I've been practicing all sorts of things. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, you better split, bro. You go and break a leg at the gig. Look forward to it. When we do a midweek special, you can tell us how the gig went. If you take some pics, we'll show those. Yeah, we always love looking at your gig pics.
Yep. I might
not those X-rated ones.
No, I don't send them through. Only the group chat, the private one. I don't, guys. We're joking. There's no X-rated photos. No. The only X-rated photos we share are the ones that of guitars and everything. So, yeah.
Hello, Lynette. We're off. We've been on for a couple of hours, Lynette. So you're new to the chat. Thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, and you can join us for a show that we're going to do tomorrow. Thank you, Lynette.
Yeah, thank you, Hobo Roadie. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. If you just dropped in, please subscribe and keep following us. And we do some amazing shows. Go back, have a look at our history, what we've got to offer as well. We are quite extensive with our rankings on this stuff. And I'm actually going to enjoy going back and watching some of the ranking shows that we've done in the past. Because so how long have we been doing it? 6 months now, Andrew, the 5150 show.
Yep.
Yeah. But Should be fun, and I'll try and get some photos and stuff tonight. Tonight I'm actually taking.
Awesome. Okay. And
That's going to be its introduction to the stage tonight.
All right, that's cool. This we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through the chat and say goodbye to you guys individually, but we do appreciate you joining us. Brad's got a split and get ready for the gig. So thank you for hanging out with us. Might see you tomorrow with the Rock Professor.
Yep.
And I'm going to play a video that we don't normally play for our intro and outro on the 51 show. But enjoy this. It's a taste of what some people are going to get tonight.
Oh,
hey, we're still on. We're still on, bro. I was going to trick you. We're still on. Be careful.
Lucky I saw the little red.
What? Oh, that was wonderful. You're going to have to redo that with the music, man, bro. I love that. I love that.
All right.
You're going to have to.
I've got to do some homework. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. We're going to be serious now and split. Thank you.
Good.